Veteran Salute, sponsored by Devon James Injury Lawyers.
You know, that music means it's time for our weekly segment, Veteran Salute. It's our chance to honor heroes from our area and thank them for their service.
27 News reporter Matthew Johnstone introduces us to Army veteran Reuben Sullivan.
Serving overseas during the Tet Offensive, Army Specialist 4th Class Reuben Sullivan pushed through whatever challenges the war threw his way to support his fellow soldiers. With the conflict ramping up in Vietnam, Reuben was called upon to join the fight.
Early in the 60s, for the Vietnam War, there was a draft, and I was just turning 18, and my numbers came up, so I got drafted and spent 2 years in the service, 1 year in Vietnam.
That year overseas came sooner than Reuben's unit was expecting.
We hadn't even learned how to break down a weapon, and not being around weapons very often, why you really wanted to know more about what was going on before you got thrown into a war.
His welcome was even more intense than he could have imagined.
Here I am coming down, and I thought, man, 4th of July. What? No, what's going on here? And realizing, you know, that it's firefights all over the country was lit up.
Reuben started off overseas as a combat engineer until switching to an ammunition specialist.
We deployed ammunition all over Vietnam. I sometimes was had to travel and take it to places, but most of the time we were back at base loading or whatever, getting the ammo to the firefights that were going on.
Through his time there, Reuben learned a handful of crucial lessons.
The existence of being over there was to rely on your fellow man, and it was a very pivotal role. You learn to trust, you learn people immediately, you learn who not to trust. So I have always said that one of the things that I gained out of the war was being able to read people a lot better.
After returning from Vietnam, Reuben looked for ways to give back to his community. He's done so by coaching local sports, redoing the hometown park, adding a military honor garden, and holding ceremonies for those that have also served in the local area. Working for you, Matthew Johnstone, 27 News.
We keep highlighting veterans in our community every week, just like Reuben. So if you know someone we could feature in this segment, be sure to go to the Veteran Salute portion at KSNT.com. Then click on the button labeled Nominate a Veteran.
And of course, sharing the story. That's not the only way we honor these veterans. Each week, the highlighted vet receives a gift.
On behalf of Devon James Injury Lawyers, we're honored to recognize this week's veteran who served our country during Vietnam in the United States Army, Mr. Reuben Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan, thank you so much for your service.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I take this check on behalf of the comrades that didn't make it back from Vietnam, and I also want to donate it to the Everest Military Honor Garden.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Veteran Salute, sponsored by Devon James Injury Lawyers.